Ooh, do you like second-hand stuff? Do you like things that are the right price? The Epping Model Railway Exhibition has a fantastic second-hand stall. I did a bit of a study of the 2016 selling area. It is a bear pit on the first day, men grabbing model trains, very random activity. And in previous years, I have found plenty of Thomas & Friends gold in the form of ERTLs, in the form of metallic take-alongs. But the 2016 year was a little bit dry when it came to Thomas the Tank. Nevertheless, this is a video about things that I focused on that caught my attention, whether they're good value or bad value, but there's one thing for certain, there is a huge variety of things for sale. It goes far beyond just model railway things. And for those watching overseas, you must remember that in Australia, when we go to purchase online at eBay or whatever, we are struck down by shipping costs that can be quite exorbitant. So if we're buying something from the USA or the UK, you can slap an extra cost above what's been asked for on eBay to get things to Australia. So that turns this second-hand stall into one of the best places to come and get something at the right price. But you must remember, this can be totally random. You don't know what's going to be there until you go there. And I think that's the best excitement of visiting the second-hand stall at the Epping Model Railway Show. Because I went to this train show over the 3 days, I do revisit the selling area, and on the first day I thought to myself, wow, this is going to sell really fast. I was picking things up and I was thinking this isn't going to last long, because to me it seemed like good value and it seemed curious, but it doesn't necessarily mean an item will be sold. It seems to be very random in what's popular and what's not popular. Another thing I'm starting to understand is, and it's a little bit sad, because I spoke to other people at this show, is often someone will pass away and what's left behind is basically what they've hoarded over the years in their model railway collection, and sometimes fragments of that collection or whole collections can be represented at this second-hand stall. I think there is an element of hoarding connected to model railway people, and there was one person I knew who was heavily into model railways, and that was a gentleman called Peter Leggett. And what I found out was he was a major hoarder of model railway stuff of all different gauges and types, but he also had a model railway shop that years and years ago was at Asquith in Sydney's north. I know I've got a lot of audience who are into model railways and also collecting it, and I dare say they'll have their little stories about people that they know who hoard a lot of stuff but don't necessarily have much to show for it, in the sense they've got no railway set up, they've just got like rooms and rooms of railway stuff they've collected over the years. Yes, so I certainly think that something to do with model trains connects to the collector bug part of your brain. And what I like to do at the Epping Model Railway Show is to try to understand what's going on. I talk to people who look like they know what they're doing, big collectors, people who know about trains. Remember, I'm just there for video camera, okay? And we talk about the second-hand stall, and I said, well, what's going on here? What's the mad panic that goes on the Saturday? And they said, well, part of it is like this. Whether this is true or not, I'm just believing what I'm told. People come in and they're looking for the really underpriced thing, something which has been priced incorrectly in a sense. They're trying to grab it, and then later on they'll throw it up on eBay at a higher price. Now, I wouldn't be surprised about that, but these people say to me, and they chuckle when they tell me, if you go onto eBay in a couple of days' time, you'll see a lot of the stuff that's for sale here, basically up there, jagged up at a higher price. And as many people who buy things on eBay will know, often there's an emotional connection with things and trains, and often people will just jump on something because, well, I'll put my fingers in the air, but you can't see me, something is deemed as being rare. Oh, and so often when you see on places like eBay and someone says it's rare, well, I think rare is one of the most abused words in the English language apart from the word friend.
Still 30 seconds.
Yes, it is really a mixed bag of all different sorts of things. A lot of the stuff is still mint in box, never been opened, and that could also seed into the whole collector/hoarder thing that I spoke about. But now I come to think about it, and thinking that there are people here grabbing stuff for eBay at the right price, there were some piles of things that people had under their arms, and they were just totally mixed bag. There was no specific brand or gauge that they were grabbing. I've got a feeling they were just hunting for stuff to throw up on eBay. And as I come back and revisit this on the third day of the show, it's just amazing how much stuff has been sold. Remember, the tables here were just layered with model railway and other things as well, and there is very little left. Mind you, there are some things that did surprise me have been left behind, but then there are other things that I felt were totally overpriced, and you're probably not surprised that they're still sitting there, not sold. So there's a bit of a warning when you're in these styles of environments. Don't get caught up in the emotion of what goes on, especially on that first day. You'll see men just grabbing at things. Doesn't mean you're going to grab as well. There are some traps here of items that were totally overpriced. And I did focus on some of those on the first day, and lo and behold, they are still there on the third day. There's nothing wrong with making a profit, but sadly some people like to take that to an extreme. But it's a thick old thing. There were some things that really surprised me that were still there. And what I like to come in and grab at this train show second-hand stall, apart from the Thomas things, if I see something from the Hornby Tri-Ang era, Hornby made in England stuff, I will come in and I will grab that. I love that era of model trains. But then again, that's what I had when I was a boy. That was the great stuff that I've still got hoarded away in boxes under my home. And I dare say, when I'm no longer on this planet, my collection of train stuff could very well end up at this second-hand stall one day, so watch out for it. The second-hand stall is extremely well run. Because there's a vendor number on the items that are being sold, I can see a recurring theme of a vendor who has a lot of stuff still sitting on the tables. For all we know, that person may have gone to an auction and bought a mass allotment of railway stuff. They've divided it up and they've come to the train show to try and sell it. But I'm pretty sure most people who come to the second-hand stall are looking for prices that are well below what you would see on eBay, and we'll call that the market price. If you are going to try a high price at an event like this, there's a really good chance your items will still be sitting there on the third day. And as it was explained to me, there are some items which basically do the rounds year after year after year and never get sold. I'm absolutely certain many of my YouTube audience will have stories about their train shows and second-hand things that go on. I'm sorry I sound a bit weird in this video. I've got the flu and I'm struggling to do anything, even talk. But there's one thing I know, the second-hand stall of the Epping Model Railway Exhibition, the Brickpit, is always awesome.